and dear visiting Toastmasters. My name is Anastasia, and please allow me to welcome you to St. Petersburg Toastmasters Club on behalf of our current president, Walter Schwartz, who cannot make it to attend the meeting today. Our club has our 4th anniversary celebrated this June, and today we have the meeting number 120. And here in the club, we tend to create a supportive and positive atmosphere to support our members to become better speakers and leaders. And please allow me to call this meeting to order and introduce our Toastmaster of the day, who is Randall Eastman. Right now, he's enjoying this sunny day somewhere close to Sochi. And Randall will explain you our agenda for today and our rules, if any. Dear Randall, welcome to the virtual stage.
So thank you, Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests from all around the world. As Anastasia said, I'm currently sweating here in a suburb of Sochi, close to the border with Abkhazia. And unfortunately, as a Canadian passport holder, I couldn't go to Abkhazia earlier in the week when my wife went with my kiddies, but they said it was a really fascinating place to go. First thing I notice every day when I step outside here is how sunny and clear the skies are. In St. Petersburg, if you've been there or lived there, you know the sky has a much different character. And frankly, I actually like the St. Petersburg sky more than I like the Sochi sky, but my wife enjoys Sochi sky much more than St. Petersburg, and that's why we're here. So our theme for the day is sunny skies, and I want to share with you a few sunny facts about St. Petersburg. First of all, St. Petersburg averages about 62 sunny days per year, whereas St. Petersburg, Florida averages 248, and Sochi about 300. And as I've learned, Singapore basically has 365 days of sun a year. So that's why my wife always says, I wish I was living in Singapore. Not she wishes me, she wishes she was living in Singapore, with or without me. On St. Petersburg in the summer, we actually have a peak of 9.2 sunny hours of sunshine a day, which is almost the same as Sochi, which in August reaches 9.1. But in December, we only have 0.4 hours per day, and Sochi still has 2.8. So it's much more pleasant, and it has an average temperature of 4 degrees in the winter in December. So my wife likes it much more. Some interesting facts about the 8th of August. In China, this is known as Double 8 now. It's a huge shopping holiday known as Chinese Valentine's Day, where young people go out and spend. And this is also basically the first year anniversary of me being a member of this club. So I think that's pretty interesting. Interesting for me, not so interesting for you. I, however, found some interesting facts about the 8th of August, and I really wanted to share 8 interesting facts about the 8th of August, but I found 10, and I'm going to share 10 with you. First 5 now, second 5 after the break. In 1709, Bartholomew Guzmão demonstrated the lifting power of hot air indoors to an audience, including the King of Portugal and Lisbon. So that was the first hot air balloon that was launched inside a building, not outside. In 1786, on the 8th of August, Mont Blanc was climbed for the first time by 2 Frenchmen. In 1786, Michael, the US Congress chose the dollar as its monetary unit. In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte set sail for St. Helena to spend the remainder of his days in exile. And I think, Florian, if I'm correct, he was a Corsican, was he not?
He was a Corsican. He was born in Ajaccio, correct.
And but that's interesting because Florian was born in Corsica, like Napoleon. In 1854, Smith & Wesson patented metal bullet cartridges. Not necessarily something positive, but it's something that happened. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you all know, if you're a Toastmaster, if you're a visitor, you don't know, that there will be 3 parts to our meeting today that will include prepared speeches, followed by an impromptu session and an evaluation session. And as we know Toastmasters clubs all around the world are manned by volunteers who learn by doing and contributing. And we learn by giving ourselves feedback, constructive feedback on everything we do. And in order to do this, we have a team of colleagues that help us. And I'm very happy today that we have a hugely multinational team of colleagues helping us, starting with a immediate past district director from the south of England, District 91, the south of the United Kingdom, District 91, Florian Bay, DTM. Florian was born in Corsica, as I just said. He's lived in London for 7 years now, and on a cloudy day, when it's not sunning, he stays at home and likes to potter around it doing various activities. Florian would like me to introduce to you the rest of the team, but first let's ask Florian to introduce what his role is as general evaluator today. Florian, over to you.
Thank you very much, Randall. Good afternoon. Dobry dzień, St. Petersburg Toastmaster. Dobry dzień, Druzia. Меня зовут Florian Bay, and today I am your general evaluator. So what is the role of the general evaluator? The role of the general evaluator is to evaluate everybody that is not going to be formally evaluated. That's the functionaries, including Randall, our acting president, Anastasia, and the A counter, the evaluators, everybody that hasn't been evaluated. As we don't have a table topics evaluator, I might give a few remarks on the table topics as well, just to make sure that everybody is covered. Now, you might be wondering who evaluates the general evaluator. It all happens in the after party at the bar, but sadly, it's logistically impossible these days, and I cannot really teleport myself to St. Petersburg as much as I would love to. I wouldn't need a visa to go to St. Petersburg, actually, because I'm French. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this meeting. I visited a few of the Moscow club. It's nice to see some familiar faces there. And I think it's back to you, Randall, for introducing the rest of the team.
Okay, thank you very much. So the rest of our team, we'll begin with Caleb, who's our timer. Caleb is a serial visitor to our Petersburg Toastmasters Club. He's a member of the Lunky Dance Club in Singapore, where he was born and has lived for 27 years. And on a cloudy day, he likes to sleep and listen to music while coding on his computer. I don't know if that means you code on your computer while you're asleep, but Caleb, how are you going to help us today as the timer?
So today I'll act as the timer of the meeting, and I'll be giving the timing sequence for the speakers, for table topic speakers, prepared speeches, and evaluation. So
yeah, and how are you going to do that? What's the method you will use?
Okay, so I have 3 colors. When it's so for prepared speech, the first timing I'll give is the green color, and then it'll be the yellow color, and finally it'll be the pink or the red. So when this is done, there's 30 seconds before our end.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Secondly, we have our own member, Anastasia Lukina, who is going to be our R counter today. Anastasia, as we know, was born in the north in I think quite sunny Saka, Yakutia. Sunny during the summer, not so sunny during the winter. She's been living for 5 years in St. Petersburg, and on a cloudy day likes to read and learn something new. Over to you, Anastasia. What will you do for us?
Thank you, Randall. Thank you, and hello, everyone. Today, my purpose is to count all the filler words and crutch words we are sometimes using during our speech, and I will count all of them. And these words are such as or and I hope you will pay careful attention in order to use less of them. Thank you. Back to you, Randall.
Thank you very much. Our next team member is visiting us from the Toastmasters Club of Tralee, Ireland. He's the president of the club. He was born in Leningrad. He's lived in Tralee itself for 8 years, but is now living 20 years in Ireland. On a cloudy day, he likes to play the ukulele. Over to you, Sergey. How will you help us today as our ballot counter?
Hi, I am counting ballots. At the end of the meeting, the best speech, the best evaluation, the best table topic answer will be decided by the ballots. And some of them are already prepared, some of them will be prepared during the meetings. And my duty is to spread the link to get the results and transfer the results to Anastasia for making them public. As far as ballot counting is important, I always like the quote from Joseph Stalin. It doesn't matter how people vote, it only matters who counts. So that's my duty.
Type that in the chat so we don't lose that one. That's a good one. So we'll be using the group chat. Everybody please have the group chat open, because when Sergey shares the link to the ballot, it'll be a hyperlink, so you need to click on it to go and vote. And next we have a visitor, I think coming for the first time from Moscow Toastbusters Club, current president Anna Ilina. Anna Ilina will be our quizmaster of the day. Anna?
Yeah, welcome everyone. It's morning. No, it's an afternoon today. It's very strange for us because we have meetings in the evening. So my role for today is to listen to you attentively and prepare a set of intriguing questions on the contents of the meeting, and then check your listening skills. Why listening is so important? First, we express our respect to the speakers. Second, we learn how to focus and concentrate ourselves. And what is the most important, we build connection with other people and learn how to understand other people. So I encourage you to listen attentively throughout the meeting, during the meeting, and enjoy what is happening today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a good point there. We have to enjoy this. It's supposed to be enjoyable. Now, we have a man who likes to talk, and he likes to talk not just publicly like this, but professionally. He has been a member of Toastmasters clubs around the world, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and in Japan. He was born in St. Louis, Missouri. He's lived for the past 10 years in St. Petersburg, and on a cloudy day, he likes to write his books, which he enjoys very much because it brightens up his day. Michael Vader, you are our grammarian of the day. Can you tell us what you're going to do for us?
Yes, I can. If I'm allowed to, I would like to give you the word of the day. And the word of the day is going to be the word brilliant. Randall chose the word to be sunny sky, so I chose the word brilliant to be the word that we would use. The word brilliant means something shiny and bright, sparkling, glittering. It also means something that's very distinguished and outstanding. Something that's showing great intelligence or great talent and quality. 3 examples of that in a sentence is the brilliant lights of the city. If they're really, really bright and intense, we may call them the brilliant lights of the city. The second there is a brilliant performance by a young artist. We've seen many artists around the world, and sometimes what they do, we can call it brilliant. And the last is showing intelligence or ability or quality. He was a brilliant technician, maybe a software technician or another type of engineer, but he was a brilliant technician. So the word today is brilliant, and I hope to hear that you use this many times during the day, if possible. I will also be the grammarian who will be listening to what you say and try to understand if you make a few faux pas or a few minor mistakes, and just try to give you a little feedback on those grammar to improve them if possible. And something that has to be considered, if you're a grammarian internationally like I am, you have to consider the culture of the club you're in, because not all clubs speak correctly. One might speak English, another one might speak American, another one might be a Singaporean who speaks English, or it might be a Russian who learned English. All these things matter, and they learn differently. So when you're an international grammarian, you cannot just be strictly by the law of English, because other people have learned other ways. You got to be careful with it. Randall, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. I'm really glad you thought of me very carefully when you chose that word. I'm sure there was something in the back of your mind thinking about my personal qualities. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're all set. You know what everyone's role is. I think you all have a copy of the agenda, which was shared in the chat. And now let's go. So we're going to start our meeting, start the meaty bits of our meeting with prepared speeches. And today we have a very interesting chance to hear our first speaker coming from Moscow, Alan Akamba. Alan has been a visitor to our club before, and he liked us so much he decided he wanted to give a prepared speech to us. He was born in Douala, Cameroon in West Africa. I know he lived in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where my mother comes from, for several years. He's lived in Moscow for 2 years, and on cloudy days, he likes to learn guitar chords. Especially he's trying to learn to play his first song by Bob Dylan, Knocking on Heaven's Door. Today he's going to give us his level 3 first speech, which is about successful collaboration. And this speech is about the strategy he's currently applying post-COVID to get his team on the same page so that they can finalize a new corporate training website by the end of this month. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Akamba, bouncing back after COVID-19. Bouncing back after COVID-19, Alan Akamba.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So guys, the idea is to get the website ready and running by August the 31st, 2020. That's what I told my 2 brilliant website developers some time ago. So one of them asked, Alan, how many sections do you want to be in the website? That's Michael who asked. And then Emmanuel, the second website designer, asked, what about the old website? What are you going to do about the information that's in there? Frankly speaking, I had no idea. So I said to them, why don't I create a Google Sheet that will be available to everybody so that we are going to write ideas there as they keep coming, which is what we did. But frankly speaking, I didn't know what I was doing. But that was my way of exercising leadership for my personal corporate training business. So in order to go about completing the project, I designed 3 strategies. The first strategy was, as I said earlier, I created a Google Sheet so that any of us could enter information there about what they thought they could do. And that proved to be very useful because Michael, who asked the question about the structures, the sections of the website, ended up answering that question himself on the Google Sheet. And he suggested 4 sections for our website. The second strategy I used is I gave away a portion of my business. In other words, Michael and Emmanuel became my partners instead of my employees. I gave away 20% of my company. And of course, that boosted their motivation. The third strategy I used is that I developed a spirit of trust and debate. I shared the password of my website with them and some other sensitive information. That helped me really develop a sense of trust and debate within the team. The reason I chose those 3 strategies is because I learned some lessons earlier. The first lesson I learned is that no team, no progress. Indeed, my first website I had created on my own, but I got to a point where I was really struggling and I needed a team around me to continue making progress. The second lesson I learned in this project is that you need to address people, to focus on people individually. What do I mean by that? Making phone calls, going for a cup of tea, just meeting people one-on-one, that sometimes helps people open up more. For example, Mike told me, hey, Alan, look, why don't we have our meetings in the morning instead, not in the evening, because I have issues with my son. So that was during a one-on-one meeting, I was able to connect more with him. Having said that, well, really have a brain freeze. But in closing, I'd like to say that there are many things I don't know. But in this project, I certainly am learning a lot of things. And dear Toastmasters, I'd like to say to you guys that if you have an ongoing project or an upcoming project, I recommend you create a team around yourself, because that will help dramatically improve the likelihood of your project to be completed. And I will leave you with an adage in English. You don't know what you don't know until you do. You don't know what you don't know until you do. So with this adage, I will leave you. And what I look forward to is the day where I will meet in with my brilliant website developers and tell them, we did it. It's a Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you very much. I know I don't know. I know I do know what I don't know, and I know that I do not know a lot. And that continually, my wife makes me continually aware of that point. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is going to be speaking from his level 1, number 4 project, which is researching and presenting. I've introduced to you a little bit before. He is a member of our Toastmasters Club in St. Petersburg for about the last 6 months. He has been a Toastmaster for many, many years. He's also the president of my Rotary Club in St. Petersburg, which is closely connected with our Toastmasters members, and hopefully will collaborate in the future. His project today is entitled Baby Boomers. Michael Vader, Baby Boomers, Michael Vader. Please give him a hand.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you for allowing me to speak today. You know, they say that most of our natural resources around the world are decreasing. Can you think of at least one resource that is increasing instead of decreasing? I will help you. It is the wisdom and intelligence and experience of our baby boomers. It is an untapped resource. Now, many people don't think about it, but in fact, there are a lot of people who are out there and who are in the position where they are going to help us in the future. Now, according to the PEW Research Institute in Washington, D.C., this is an organization that helps track the education, the working, and the travel of different generations of Americans. according to them, 53% of the people between 54 and 72 are either actively working or they want to be working, one or the other. So there is a generation of people who are trying to reach out to make sure that they're able to get what they want. Now, with today's modern medicine and with the modern exercise we have for people who are older, all the different things available, those people are healthier, living longer, and can do more. More than any generation before them, this group of people is living longer and working longer. We need to take advantage of this, but often people don't see that and they don't think about it. They think about the younger generation coming up. In her best-selling book, Dr. Jennifer Deal wrote that the people who are in this generation have tremendous value. Now, her book has been a bestseller on New York's Book Exchange for a long, long time. And she is recognized as one of the people who has been studying it the most. She herself is just now turning 70. I'm already 72, so I agree with most of her findings. These people are our future now. We talk about the future being for 10 or 20 years, but what are we going to do right now? There's a tremendous quantity of these people who are baby boomers, born technically between 1944 and 1964, who have an awful lot to offer. Now, you got to remember, these people have changed a lot. Now, I don't know how much you have changed, but you know, we have this little thing that we call a cell phone. And in this cell phone, there are many different devices. There is a large, heavy metal typewriter. There is a large, hard metal or hard plastic calculator. There is a large monitor. There is a large black telephone. All these things are inside my little device. If I had to carry those things, that'd be so hard trying to carry all that everywhere I went. How can I do my job if I had to carry all these things with me? That would be very difficult. But because of modern technology, it's all in my little phone. I have seen all those changes, and there's more changes out there. When I started driving, there was no lap belt. Then we put a single lap belt on people. Then we put a shoulder harness on people. Now today, because the young people think the old people don't know how to drive anymore, now they have built cars that we just sit back and don't even put our hands on the steering wheel and it drives for us. We have gone from a 3-speed shift to an automatic. We have gone from petrol to electric. And now we have cars that drive for us. We don't even need to drive. We have seen so many, many, many changes out there. Now, Dr. Deal in her findings found out that 31% of those baby boomers say that they will be bored to death if they don't work. They want to do something. They want to feel productive. 13% said I can be more productive if I'm working than when I'm sitting home. 12% said I want good health, both physical and mental, and in order to maintain that, I need to work. So the statistics are backing us up that in fact, these people really do want to do some work. They do not just want to stay home. Now, some of you may be thinking that these people are what we call a mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R. That's not what I'm talking about, and I'll explain. The large companies, if you look at Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, they all had mentors when they got started, and these mentors helped them avoid some mistakes because the mentors had seen those mistakes, and now they can pass it to these younger people so they don't make them. Those people are highly paid and they don't work very much. Now there's another group that we need to think about here. That group is the interns, I-N-T-E-R-N, interns. These young, brilliant people come from college into a company as an intern. They bring very little experience, limited knowledge. They're expected to do a lot of work and they get low pay. We don't want to chase them away. We want to keep them, but we also want to bring in the older person. So what I'm recommending is that you combine the term mentor and the term intern and put them together to make it a mentern. These people have a tremendous amount of experience and welfare they can bring to a company. All you have to do is give them the opportunity. Many of you saw a movie about this about a year and a half ago when the movie Intern came out. Robert De Niro played the part of an older man who went back to work and contributed tremendously towards a company. We need more of this, and it needs to grow. Now, according to the Benetton Hospital Center, which is in UK, which tries to not only help people physically, but also find jobs for them, they're saying that what the baby boomers bring to the work, a few things: more experience than you can find anywhere else. These people have leadership skills because they have been leaders of teams over a period of time. They have the ability to communicate with many different generations and talk to lots of folks. Lots of them have been grandparents where they talk to little children, teenage children, and adults. They have the experience. And then the loyalty to the company. These people are more loyal than most employees. They appreciate the fact that they can learn something new at your company. So while they're contributing to your benefit to help your company avoid mistakes, they also get back new technology. A lot of things have been invented since they started work. So I remind you that my opening statement was one of the few natural resources that's increasing and not declining is the wisdom and knowledge of our senior group called baby boomers. Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask Caleb if he can tell us what the timing was for our two speakers. Were they within their scheduled time limits? You can speak or type. Yes, for that, Caleb.
Both speakers spoke within time. They are
Okay,
eligible for voting.
Okay, so Sergey, if you can please share the poll, the voting poll. And now, while you're sharing that, Sergey will put a link inside the group chat. I'd like us to take 2 minutes so that everyone can also give personal feedback to each of our two speakers today. So 2 minutes, please, for that. Okay, has everybody had a chance to vote? Hands up if anybody needs more time to vote. Anybody need more time, more time, more time, more time? Okay, good. Then what we'll do now is we'll take a 10-minute break. And I'm going to switch off the recording now so we can have chat during the break.
Of your speech right in this program. Let me remind you that the timing of the speech is 1 to 2 minutes. So you're allowed to speak at least 1 minute. After 2 minutes, that is your limit. You will see the red color, that means something. So I encourage you to participate. I'm pretty sure most of you have done it a million times before. So 7 names, I'm waiting for you right now to see in the chat. One more. I noted Alan. Let me screen share with you and you will understand what are the rules today. I hope you can see my screen right now. So I will type 7 names and now you know who will be the first one, who will be the 5th one, and so on. The first one will be Anastasia Lukinat. Then Florian. Then please, Randall, stop doing that. Please let me know who was the 7th one, as I cannot see the chat right now.
Caleb wanted to speak.
Sure. So on the right part of the screen, we see 7 names, 7 people who are going to participate. Each of you have 1 to 2 minutes. I will press the button, generate a question, and you will see the question. And there is below, you may see the timing. Right now it's 0. Once you start speaking, I will press start. So you may see the exact time. I hope that everything is clear now. And Anastasia, are you ready to be the first speaker?
Yes, I am.
Here's your question. Please read it out loud and then start your speech.
Okay, St. Petersburg is known as a rainy city. Which sunny city would you like to move to? Okay, I'll start. I would love to move to Italy, especially to Rome. I heard that there is so many sunny days there. And why Italy? Not only because of sunny days, but also because of the history, the architecture, food. I cannot live without pizza, pasta, good wine, good weather, beautiful nature, and beautiful people all around me. I don't say that I don't see enough beautiful people here, but it's not the case. Also, the Italian language, I love that language. It sounds like a music to my ears. And also, I love Italian movies, and there is so much passion, so many emotions. And I love that in their culture the emotion is like the expression of who they are. And also, yes, I see Italian mafia, like for example, Godfather. I love that movie. And also I love that they're very close to their family. So I would love to move there in conclusion, simply. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. So everyone is now very brave. You know the rules, you know how it works. You saw the question. Was it difficult? I don't think so. Let's see how it will work. Florian, are you ready to be the second one?
Yes, I am ready. Bye-bye.
Here's your question.
My best summer vacation. That's a very good question. And recently, I haven't really had much opportunities to go on holidays. Well, I've been to the Toastmasters International Convention 3 times, which you could kind of say was a summer vacation, but it was kind of work because I was being trained as a district leader and networking with people. But which of the Toastmaster convention was the best one I attended? Been to Vancouver, been to Chicago, been to Denver, 3 great American cities. Well, one of them is Canadian. I would actually opt for Vancouver. No offense to anybody that's American there, but I think Vancouver was the best one. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of my first really long distance trip, kind of on my own. I got to stay in a really nice hotel. They had some really nice North American food, and I just have a thing for Canada. I'm a Frenchman that lives in the UK, so I consider myself to be Franco-British or Anglo-French, and this is what Canada is. I know Canada is kind of always looking for its own identity and whatever. Come on, you guys, you're Anglo-French. You're the best of Europe. You're half French, half British. Just enjoy it and tell the world very, very, very proudly that this is what you are, please, because you are kind of almost the best country in the world because of this. People in Canada are really friendly, and Vancouver is a kind of a nice place. It's not too hot. I just don't like it when it's too hot. And on the airplane, there was a little bit of a video guide about Vancouver, and it said the climate is just like London. I was like, yes, it means that I will be able to walk around with a coat. Well, in the end, when I did go around Stanley Park, I did walk around without a coat because it was just a lot more convenient, but I didn't sweat too much. There was a nice sea breeze and so on, and these lovely big trees that you've got in the northwestern part of the not the United States. Vancouver is not a United American. In the northwestern part of North America. That was a bit of a mouthful, that one. I'd love to go back to Vancouver one day, maybe for my honeymoon or something like that. I do need to find a suitable lady to marry, first of all. That's kind of a bit of a quest that I've been on for a number of years. But now, that has been my best summer vacation, and I'd love to go back to Vancouver. And oh, Canada, you're such a beautiful country. And I'll end it there.
Thank you, Florian. We got your pain. We got your pain. Who is the next one? Fahim, if I'm not mistaken with the pronunciation?
Yes.
Here's your question number 3.
What is my favorite activity in the summer? Well, many years ago, I probably weighed 100 pounds more than I do now. And when you're that heavy, if it's hot, it's very hot. So my favorite activity in the summer was probably staying inside in air conditioning, moving as little as possible, and doing my best to escape the heat. Now, I've managed to shed many of those pounds, and I found now in summer, I enjoy being out and walking. Especially during this time, I've had lots of time to walk because that's about all there is to do. I live in the Princeton, New Jersey area, which is about an hour to an hour and a half south of New York City. Very fortunately, this is what we call the pretty part of New Jersey, unlike the northern part. We have lots of forest land, and where I live, there are many forest trails very close to my front door. I can go and walk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, experience lakes, forests, have a chance to see deer, rabbits, turtles, swans, egrets, all sorts of wildlife. And it also gives me a chance to get together with friends and share this experience with them. And the good part with all this walking is I probably lost another 20 pounds in the last 4 months. So I have found that I'm actually enjoying this part of summer. I tolerate the heat much better than I used to, and getting the chance to get out and walk, gain exercise, and think about what in the world I can talk about during my next speech all translates into a very effective use of my time. So now my favorite activity for summertime is walking and thinking. Back to you, Anastasia.
Thank you, Thayin. I believe that Randall does understand you pretty well with this hot weather here in Sochi and here in the USA. Thank you for your speech. Anna, are you ready to be the next one?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. And here's your question number 4.
Oh, it's so plenty. What do I think it might be about? Interesting question. Frankly speaking, I really don't know anything about this TV series. But we see it is from New Zealand, so maybe we can see there some hobbits or some other fantastic creature. I don't know, actually, I have a dream to visit New Zealand. I guess it's a fantastic country because it is famous for its beautiful nature, and I'm really keen on hiking and seeing mountains, lakes, and forests. So I guess New Zealand would be my next destination after pandemic goes away. And we shouldn't forget about New Zealand wine. It's another gift from this country. So about TV series, I really don't have any idea, but I promise to find out this TV series and to tell you about it next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I suppose none of us has ever heard about this TV series. So that was just about the prediction, the impromptu speech. What do you know about this? Nothing? Then it's fine. You can just imagine something. Sergey, you're the next one. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Here is your question.
In childhood, we used to have more than 2 months holiday in summer. Now we have 28 vacation days. Would you like to return to childhood? Thank you. Thank you very much for the brilliant question. I'm lucky, I feel blessed by that question, especially the last bit of it. Would you like to return to childhood? Yes, there is a lot to love about the childhood, and my childhood is not exception. Of course, vacations, holidays, 2 months. Most of my school years, I spent my summer holidays in Anapa, on Caucasus, near the Black Sea, and that partially answers the question about the favorite activity on holidays, swimming. And I spent 2 months there in so-called pioneer camp with my friends, and I'm still in touch with those wonderful people even now after all these years, and they defined a lot of my personality, of a lot of things in my life. And that's all, it all goes back to my pioneer childhood. I was wearing the red tie as we had to, and I didn't think much of the communism and all these stupid things. We just enjoyed the company of the great people. Many of them were also from St. Petersburg, to be exact, from Leningrad University. They were creative. They taught me a lot about life and, first of all, about having fun. So definitely I would love to go back to those days at least for one summer. And there is one song with the words which I would translate this way. It's wonderful to fall back into the childhood just for a day or two, but more than that, it can be dangerous. You can remain there forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey, for sharing your experience. I had absolutely different one. So glad that you had such a lucky one. Alan has been our brilliant speaker today, and now he's taking part in the second part of the meeting as an impromptu speaker. Alan, are you ready to speak now?
Yes, I am, Anastasia.
Thank you, and here is your question.
Tell us about your rituals if you were a sun worshiper. Wow. First of all, this time don't have a brain freeze. For me, a ritual, first of all, is a process. It's an activity that you do once in a while. Maybe it brings you luck. Maybe it makes you feel happier in a way. If I was a sun worshiper, I would do what the sun does. I would wake up in the morning. I would have some sort of movement, some sort of imitation of the rise of the sun. Maybe something that looks like what yoga practitioners do to salute the sun. And of course, in the evening, at sunset, I would have maybe the opposite. So if I was bending backward in the morning, in the evening, and at sunset, I would bend forward to show my salute. And I'm not sure what I would do at noon because the sun is right up at the zenith. It might be difficult to guess. I might be jumping around the city in the streets like a crazy person. But hey, I would tell people I'm a sun worshiper. And that's kind of interesting. It take you away from all the stress we have. I wouldn't need to go to work in the morning and sit indoors. I would be outside like I am right now. So my life would be very, very different than it is right now. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Alan. That sounds amazing, just to wake up in the morning when the sun rises and just go to bed when on the sunset time. Sometimes I call myself a sun worshiper, and the reason is because, as Randall mentioned, we have only 66 sunny days here in St. Petersburg. So whenever I see sun, I definitely know I need to run outside. All right, and Kalib is our last speaker for today. I will keep track on your timing. Just let me know once you are ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Here's your question.
Imagine you wrote a country rock song, Sunny Skies, back in 1971. Tell your fans what has inspired you. Welcome everyone to tonight's fan meeting. Today I'll be sharing about my song Sunny Skies and why I wrote this country rock song. I remembered having my notebook and stepping into the middle of Grand Canyon and thinking of what to write for my next song. And when I look up, I realized it was a hot sunny day and I was remembering about what happened in the previous summer. A friend that I met is leaving the US for a better opportunity in Russia. And I was really happy for her. I decided to write a song of the skies that we see in the US and the skies that this friend will probably see in Russia and how I remembered about him. This song is also about my friendship and about my memories being in Arizona and meeting friends from university and in church there. This song is really memorable because I wrote this song when I just finished university, as well as when I just started and it marked my first year anniversary being for 1 year. It was really very touching and memorable to know that I have covered and I've achieved so much in my 1 year of stay in the US. I hope you will like this song and you will like the rest of the songs I'm performing tonight for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. And now I will stop screen sharing and will remind you our speakers of the day. The first speaker was Anastasia Lukina. She told us about moving to Italy. The second one was Florian. He told us about his vacation in Canada. The third one was Tain. He told us about his working activities outside during summertime. Anna, the fourth speaker, told us about the TV series she has never watched. Sergey told us about his childhood experience. Alan shared his ideas how to become a sun worshipper. And Caleb just told us about the song he might have written many years ago. Right now, Caleb, are you ready to announce the timing, or should I?
Okay, so I'll give the damage report for the table topic speakers. Everyone spoke within timing except Florian Bay. He spoke 10 seconds more than expected.
Thank you, Caleb. And now we need to run voting. So please, I'm waiting for the voting poll in the group chat so we can choose who will be called today the best table topic speaker. Here it is, please, everyone. Just make your choice. Thank you for participating in this section. I'm pretty sure you got your nice experience today, although you have received this experience many times before. And thank you for sharing your personal stories. That helps us to know you better, and that helps us to feel this connection, although we may be at home or although we are in the different countries. And now back to Mr. Toastmaster Randall.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. I thought it was fascinating, actually, that New Jersey, there are wild swans. That was an interesting picture for me. And I totally agree with Sergey that Vancouver is the most amazing city in the world, I think, for its picturesque beauty and its climate. It's as majestic as St. Petersburg, but it has mountains. It's a little bit like Sochi, but not so hot. And I lived there for a year, and I've been longing to go back ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now a chance to learn how we can improve all of our performance, all of our speaking performance. And we're going to ask our general evaluator of the day, who is coming to us as a special guest, to now introduce everyone. So Florian Bay, could you please take over?
Thank you very much, Randall. Hello again, everybody. Evaluations, what are they all about? Well, they are the special sauce in Toastmasters. They're the thing that makes a good thing even great. It's just like adding a good dollop of smetana in a borscht, effectively. And they give us ways that we can improve, so what we've done well, so that we can do it again and again in the future. And also ways that we can improve, so that we could potentially do things slightly differently, perhaps use more vocal variety, structure our speech better. It's all about leveraging what we do well against what we perhaps don't do so well. We had 2 speeches, we have 2 evaluators this afternoon. Our first evaluator will be evaluating Alan Akamba's speech. She's from the French-speaking club in Moscow, Autour du Mot. Her name is Irina Yakovleva. She was born in Lyubertsy, which is not far away from Moscow. And she lives has lived in the Moscow region for nearly all her life. And during a cloudy day, she thinks that the best way to spend a cloudy day is to have a good cup of coffee. I can agree. I just had a cold one actually earlier to keep myself awake, and to play my lovely guitar and read an interesting book. To evaluate Alan Akemba's speech, let's give it to Irina Yakovleva.
Good afternoon, my dear friends. It's an honor for me to attend your meeting for the first time. I will get to the point. Alan, I've had the privilege of hearing your speeches in different club meetings and in different languages, French, Russian, and today English. And I know how brilliant speaker you are. And yesterday I was given a speech in our French club, and I was under your strict observation throughout all my speech. At the end of it, I got a very constructive and strict feedback. But today I will be revengeful, because I would like to be as objective as I can. I like the way you structure all your speeches, because you are not beating about the bush. You just start, you just continue, you finish with no extra words, no extra information. Everything is concise and clear. And I liked the way you started with some bit of storytelling about how it all started, all your project, all your team work. And after that, you continue, you give 3 tips, 3 very important tips of how to deal in a team, deal with your team. I like the way you finish your speech. You finished it in a very wise way, using a quotation concerning the topic, concerning the spirit of your project. One thing we all have witnessed, that was a kind of, as Alan himself said, a kind of brain freeze on such a hot day. And that was not a problem really for any speaker, any public speaker. This is quite a common thing. It happens sometimes. But how do we deal with this? It's very important to observe how we deal. Alan, who was very peaceful, very calm, and not stressed by the thing that he was going through. And he just tried to maintain the pace of the speech and tried not to make it as remarkable as it could be. One thing I would like to talk about, I would like to recommend working on, it's pauses, because Alan, you've made quite a few of them during the speech today. They were meaningful, they were dramatic sometimes, but some of them seem to be unnecessarily long. And and I think you did it just to avoid hesitations. But I think we can try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can try to avoid hesitations, and at the same time, very long, unnecessary pauses in our speeches. Thank you very much for another example of good and brilliant speech, and thanks all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Irina. Our second evaluator will be evaluating Michael Vader. And that second evaluator is a guest to the club. He's the current president of Horizon Toastmaster clubs in Saudi Arabia. He, however, is not from Saudi Arabia. He was born in Rawalpindi in Pakistan, but he's been living in Saudi Arabia for over 7 years now. And during a cloudy day, he would love to be with the love of his life in a farmhouse, enjoying the rain and the cool weather, having hot chocolate, listening to music, and dancing to the rhythm of our souls, and spending time in nature purely off the grid. Wow, this is really romantic. Let's welcome our second evaluator to evaluate Michael Vader, Umar Farooq Hawan.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for such a heartfelt introduction. Toastmaster Michael has proven through his speech that gold is actually really good. See, age is just a number. We are all learning from each other's experiences. Whatever we have to give to each other, we have to give whatever stage of life we are actually. So that was wonderfully presented by Toastmaster Michael through his speech. First, I will go to what I loved about his speech. What I loved about his speech was a lot of speakers tend to open the speech maybe with a story, maybe with a quote, and sometimes with a question. Michael opened the speech with a question, and a very thought-provoking question for everybody, and that immediately hooked everybody. Secondly, his hand gestures. When you are on stage, everything about you will be speaking until you actually start speaking with your tongue. Your dress, your shoes, your eyes, your body language, everything will speak about you. So his hand gestures were wonderful. He improvised and he showed how the hands can talk. Throughout the speech, at every moment of the speech, his hands were talking with his words also. So that he wonderfully presented. And I actually also third thing, the most important thing, he met the objectives. He shared with us facts and also the figures. A lot of times speakers may tend to be focusing on just figures, but he gave all the qualitative characteristics of baby boomers and how people at old age can also be of person of value and can provide value to others. So, and I love the terminology of mentor and intern combining. That was very improvised and very interesting. Now, I always believe there is no such thing as a perfect speaker. There is always something that we can do to get better. Let's put you in a room in which you can grow. That's called room for improvement. So in that room for improvement, what I would recommend is you have that thing. Sometimes your speech was getting rushed. Maybe you could have exercised these pauses, but very meaningful and at important gestures when you are talking about the things of some facts and figures, allow the others to digest that also. So that at that times you can pause also. Sometimes a lot of things that you want to say, maybe it's rushed up and you're running. Secondly, your eye contact was sometimes going off. Maybe you were reading something and maybe it was getting distracted also. So maybe if you could focus on the camera. Third thing is conclusion. I thought that conclusion was maybe abrupt. You could have added a call to action. We all are a person, people of value, and we should always share the learnings and be of giving nature and all these things. So try to instill a motivating, powerful message and impactful. Overall, I loved your speech, and if you incorporate all those recommendations, I am sure you will have an excellent speech in the future also. Back to you, General Bennett. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Umar. Very good, very good. How long have our evaluators spoken for? Caleb, over to you to share the times, please.
Hi, everyone. I've just sent the timing for the evaluators. I will send the timings for the table topic speakers and the speakers later. Irina is 5 seconds late, so she doesn't qualify for voting, and Farwood evaluated for 3 minutes and 18 seconds, so he's eligible. And therefore, I don't think we need to vote for the best evaluator for today.
Okay, considering that we only have one person that is eligible for vote, I would think it's wise not to have a best evaluator vote. Otherwise, it's a bit of a shoe in. And somebody mentioned Stalin earlier. I'm not sure this is necessarily a good model to emulate. Now, we're going to hear back from some of our functionaries for the meeting. Our grammarian, our counter, our quiz master. I much prefer the term hook master that Optima Forma uses. Let's hear about our use of grammar. Michael, back to you. Have we been brilliant or not?
Well, so, you know, not good, not bad, but it's all right. On the word of the day of brilliant, there were only 4 people who used brilliant. Alan, Randall, Anastasia, Lear, and myself. There was a number of times when people used words that weren't quite right. One person, I don't want to point out fingers, but one person used the phrase kind of 5 times within 3 minutes. So that person needs to think about repeating that phrase, kind of, kind of, kind of. Be careful about it. It's one that jumps in and we don't talk much about it. Another person was using twice in the same time they were talking. They used the word, they said wooden, W-O-O-D-E-N is what it sounded like. What I think they meant, according to the sentence structures, was would not. So it would be wouldn't, but it came out wooden. So you need to be careful when you get to the end of words and pronunciate the entire word, not only the beginning part of the word. But overall, I thought our people did a very good job, especially with all the non-original English-speaking people that we have in the group. I think overall it was good. We just need to think about using that word of the day more often. It's a challenge for all Toastmasters to see how they can fit it in to their presentation. It's a challenge and you should accept that challenge. Mr. General Evaluator, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for a brilliant report. A little bit of vocabulary here. When the Americans say, hey, wholesome, we in the United Kingdom say brilliant. I believe this is also the case in Ireland. Sergey can confirm. So a bit of a way in which English, British English and American English can be quite different. Two countries separated by a common language, as we sometimes say. Have we been humming and hiring? Let's find out. Anastasia Lukina, over to you. Tell us all about our use of verbal crutches.
Thank you, Florian. First of all, I would like to note that both speakers were brilliant. They didn't use any filler words. That was amazing. And that is something that I personally will use for my future and learn from. I would actually, Alan used pauses instead of filler words, and I will try to use pauses as well. So we had 6 R's today, 11 ums, 28 R's, as 2 well, and also some of us used like this sound. I heard several times. And to sum up how many scratch words we used, it's 58. Not bad. I think it's not bad. It's a very good result. Thank you. Back to you, Florian.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. Okay, now we're moving on to the quiz master. Oh, I'm curious to know what the question is and if there are going to be chocolate surprises. I could really do with having some yummy Babayevsky chocolate. It has a vanilla flavor. It's just amazing. Anna, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's time to check your memory and how attentive you were during the meeting. Most of my questions look like a geography quiz. Sorry for that. But let's start. How many days, how many sunny days are there in Sochi in a year? Oh, the rule is to write your answers in the chat. No, Anastasia, you are wrong. Anyone else? It's the direct, right, direct number 300. Okay, Alan's speech. He got a strong conclusion and he used a saying in his conclusion. What was that? Do you remember? A saying in Alan's Akamba speech in the end. Right, Remy, you're the winner, 2 times the winner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Since you're a member of
the next question, what employee, as we can say, did Michael Wader invent in his speech? What type of a right, Umar, right. And could you write what can this person bring to a company? What values and some other things? What do you remember? How he or she might be helpful to a company? Right, okay. There is no one answer.
All right.
Yeah,
Right. And there was one more. The first letter is L. It's
Leadership.
loyalty. Loyalty, Leningrad. Loyalty is one of the qualities. Okay, next question is, what is the country Anastasia wants to move to? Italy. Perfect, perfect. What was the city Florian enjoyed visiting a Toastmasters convention? Vancouver, right. What country is it in? Canada, right. Next question. What are two, not one, favorite activities of Thane in the summer? Two favorite activities. No, I mean no, sitting. He doesn't sit in a room anymore. Walking, and what was the second Thane mentioned? Thinking, right. Anna, perfect. Thinking and walking, or walking and thinking. The next question, where did Sergei spend his summer holidays in his childhood? Anapa, right. That's a very detailed answer. At the Black Sea. And what was the place, not the geographical place, but the...
Pioneer Camp.
Right, Pioneer Camp. So Randall, thank you for your answer. And the last question, I want, if I was right, so you will check me, what was the device Caleb used in 1971? So I was puzzled, but I thought, no, Anna, guitar, no. I was puzzled, but I've heard that he said laptop. Was there, no, you didn't. So my listening was not good. Notebook. Notebook, right, notebook. So I was puzzled, though I don't think there were notebooks at that time in 1971. Paper note. Ah, notebook, okay. So you see, our listening skills can sometimes not be so good. Thank you. That was my last question.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's now over to me to give some general remarks and feedback to the club and our functionary. I'll start off with our acting president, Anastasia. I liked a bit of tidbits on the club history, that the club's going to be 4-year-old quite soon. It's always nice to know where a club comes from and the kind of journey a club went through. Suggestion for improvement for Anastasia as acting president is to share a story. How has Toastmasters benefited her? What has she learned from Toastmaster? Because this is a chance to inspire the current members and potential future members about the possibilities that Toastmasters can offer us. Our Toastmaster of the meeting, Randall. Now, Randall's been really, really well prepared. I mean, we exchange messages on WhatsApp. had a detailed file with where the people were born and so on. Very professional way of preparing. If this was a professional event with him as an MC introducing the speakers, really the way to do it. My suggestion for Randall is not necessarily one on content, but more one on delivery. I would have liked Randall to have a little bit more energy when introducing people, potentially to really raise his voice, to kind of really give people a oomph. Because if people kind of start on a oomph, that kind of give them a little bit of a boost as they start, a bit of a buzz, a bit of energy, and it just lifts everything up. A rising tide lifts all boats after all. Our timekeeper for the meeting, Caleb. Caleb had a good explanation of the time, and he kind of really measured the time very precisely and shared them in the chat. My suggestion to Caleb are, I got a couple of suggestions. Maybe it's due to a slightly different Toastmastering culture in Singapore, but I'm more used to see the timekeeper sharing the exact time as part of his report and not necessarily see the times being typed in the chat, because the timekeeper is a speaking role. So let's just speak up and share the time, not necessarily just share if someone's been qualified or disqualified or not. One thing on use, I personally prefer the virtual Zoom background because I do find them to be more visible. There are different schools of thought there. It's my own preference, not necessarily right or wrong, but I just kind of prefer them because I just find that they jump out more immediately and they're a lot more visible. Grammarian Michael, a nice word of the day, and I like the way he explained it. He had a slide with the 3 different definitions. In a meeting, this could be printed out, perhaps in A3 and plastered on all the wall, and he kind of did use the equivalent. Really, really good there, because that made it really thorough. And I quite like that during his report, he picked up on the not so goodies of the English language. This is something that you don't see people doing quite often, but he did it, and that's really good because that way we can all improve together. Aha counter Anastasia, very good introduction of the role, and the report was very thorough. She had a count, not necessarily a count that was perhaps kind of for each individual, but I think it's good that way, because if you say, oh, you did 33, you did 34, whoa, a bit too intimidating. The more indirect approach that she uses, I think it's a lot better. It's a lot friendly to the guest. One thing I felt was missing is the why. And that would be my suggestion to a lot of functionaries this evening. Why is time important? Why are table topics important? Why is being a hums and R counter important? It is because we are here to improve, and all these roles, they help us improve a particular skill, which for the ums and R counter is our fluency of speaking. The grammarian is our language. For table topics, it's our ability to think on the spot and really come up with answers quickly. Or if we have a brain freeze, to just find, to just try and sort our way out of the situation and then go back on our track. It's really important to highlight why and what people can get out of the various skills. Quizmaster Anna, like the answer, like the question, maybe a little bit more energy. I mean, throwing the chocolate, not possible virtually, unfortunately, but this is something we do in my own club when we meet in person, which we haven't for nearly 6 months now. You shout out the answers and then you get a chocolate. It's really good fun. Do try it when you get back to in-person meeting. And now the evaluators. Irina, our first evaluator. She gave a bit of context about her relationship with the speaker, how she knew him and what happened beforehand. That's really good, but I felt it was a little bit too much, because as an evaluator, she really ought to be evaluating the speech and its content and delivery, and not to kind of go too on the speaker. If this were a competition, every second counts. So just something to bear in mind. Very specific feedback, for example, on the poses, that the poses could be better structured. What I would like Irina to do more is to emphasize the why. Why are the poses important? And why is using quotes and having a good structure important? Because that way it helps us improve. And evaluation is not just for the speaker, it is for everybody in the audience. I'll build upon that a little bit later. Our second evaluator, Farouk. I quite like the way that he focused on the objective of the speech, that it was about researching and presenting, that it was about audience understanding and explaining the transition and so on. always good because every speech has got objective according to the pathways learning experience. Quite a bit of a formal way, Toastmaster Michael, but we're seeing different flavors, different international flavor of Toastmastering here today. And that's an interesting thing because in different countries, some of them are more informal, some of them are more formal. And it's lovely to kind of observe that today. Something I would suggest Farouk to do is to perhaps focus a bit more on actually the objective and the purpose of the speech itself. Not the objective in terms of the pathways objective, but the objective that the speakers may have had. I felt that there was a lot of informative content about Michael's speech, but also a bit of a persuasive element. And I would have liked to see the boundary being clearly defined by the speaker. And that's something that the evaluator can speak upon. Every speech has got an objective that the speaker asks for it and has a purpose as well, which is a more generic. And it's, as evaluators, let's always try to pick up on this. Now, our evaluator did something today. You. I just don't like this at all. An evaluation is for everybody. It's not just for the speaker. We don't see it so much in an online meeting, but in an in-person meeting, when an evaluator starts using you, the dynamics of the room change to become a conversation between the evaluator and the person he or she is evaluating. An evaluation is for everybody, so always try to use the third person because that way we can all learn and it kind of directs the evaluation at everybody else. A little bit of feedback for the club before I go. I go. Really enjoyed the meeting, really nice buzz. Would have loved to see more members from St. Petersburg itself, but it's summer. Quite a lot of people are probably on their dacha where the internet connection and such are not so good. But a good energy, good organization by the Vice President of Education to make sure that all the roles were filled. One thing I would say, St. Petersburg Speech Master has only 13 members at the moment. How do I know this? Because I've been crunching numbers for all of Toastmasters in Russia for Irina Suvorova and Valeria Khodorova. And 13 members for a city of 5 million people is not enough. So my challenge for the club is this club needs to grow. I know that there's a presence on VK. I'd love to see a presence on Yandex Maps and on Google Maps as well. I know that the current lockdown situation doesn't help, but there's a big potential. Bring more guests, bring more members in. May have to consider perhaps introducing a Russian-speaking element into the club as well. Just a suggestion, because this club needs to grow. St. Petersburg, it should be a division worth of club. A division is about 20 club. So that's my challenge for the future for you guys. And on that note, it's been lovely to visit you guys, and I might come back in the future. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Florian. You've let the cat out of the bag, really, that our secret mission is to become bigger and stronger than Moscow. So unfortunately today, fortunately today, we have many visitors from many different Moscow clubs. We are very well aware that we need to grow, and we have actually been growing. And I could actually say that I believe this time last year, we probably had 3 members in the room, and we've achieved more than that today. We will grow. It is, I think all clubs around the world are feeling a challenge during this COVID time, but we also have the opportunity that we would never have had before to have so many visitors from all around joining us. And what makes it, I think, more interesting is that the visitors coming to our club, when we're meeting physically, our visitors are almost always non-Toastmasters. But when we're meeting online, we're actually having visitors coming who are members of other Toastmasters clubs. And that's a great opportunity for us to get exposed, or to expose others to how we do our meetings and to learn from you how we can improve ours. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a successful meeting. And now I would like to ask Anastasia, who is our immediate past president, to help us present and prepare the awards for today.
Thank you, Randall. So before closing the meeting, there is just one last part, which is also very important and the most pleasant part of our meeting, the awards. And please, Randall, can you make some noise while I will screen share and show you the winners of the day? Sounds good. So first, the best evaluator of the day is Umar Farouk. Congratulations, Umar. It's a new experience for you being an evaluator in our club. The next award goes to the best table topics, and that is Anastasia Lukina. Congratulations, Anastasia. Thank you for participating in my part of the meeting. And here's the best speaker, who is Michael. Michael, congratulations. Hope you're not surprised with receiving one more award, as being as experienced Toastmaster as it could be possible in this world. And now, Randall, should I close the meeting?
Yes, you should. So back to you.
Thank you, Randall. Thank you, everyone. I want to appreciate your participation today during these 2 sunny hours. As Florian mentioned, I didn't mention any benefits of whatever I was presenting today. So at the end of the meeting, I would like to mention the benefits of this meeting for me personally. First of all, that was a nice opportunity for me to test new program for table topics, and I would love to hear the feedback from the club members. Whenever you like it or not, it's easy for me right now to share with you this program, and we could use it in our future meetings. The second benefit is the participation of the members from all over the world. As far as I mentioned, we had the guests from the USA, the UK, Ireland, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia, and I'm sorry if I missed somebody, as well as the Russian Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters from Moscow. Thank you for visiting our meeting. That's always very pleasant for us and gives us a benefit of sharing the experience, as also Florian mentioned, and Michael has visited a lot of Toastmaster meetings worldwide. That's the unique opportunity for us. Please be informed that our next meeting is on the 22nd of August, and that is still the online meeting. And after that, in September, we plan to move to the hybrid meetings. So there will be both opportunities to participate. For us, staying in St. Petersburg, it will be offline meeting. For those international Toastmasters members who would love to participate in our meetings, that is still possible online. Isn't it great? For our club, that's absolutely a great benefit. So thank you for participating. I wish you to have a great evening ahead. Thank you for coming. And now I close the meeting, open session in case you have any feedback.